Hey, Josh, how is it going today?
Good, Jake. How are you, man?
Oh, really, really good, man.
Awesome. What are you working on?
Okay, so today is a really fun day. I really enjoy these days. Today I'm working on almost, I guess you could call it a testimonial video with our current technicians. And what we're doing is we're creating a video because we are in the process of reaching out to new technicians to generate some new employees for the company. And the way we are doing that is a little bit of a new way, and we're letting our current employees tell prospective new employees what it's like to work here.
That's great. That's actually almost unheard of in this industry. That's one of the hugest obstacles for me and probably for every other service company out there that does what we do is to find good technicians, find technicians at all.
Yeah.
Depending on what trade you're looking in. But
do you think that's a nationwide issue? Do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. It is 100% a nationwide issue. One of the biggest things is what people always say is this is a dying profession. Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with a dying industry,
right? But
nobody wants to be a technician anymore.
That's strange.
And I've got my own theories. I've written a couple articles on LinkedIn about it. But the average age I just read for technician is 40 years old.
Okay.
So I mean, think about that for a minute. These guys are near retirement.
Yeah.
And this industry is still booming, still looking for new techs. But
right. I mean, we're here in Phoenix. We're seeing it grow. It feels like every week.
Yeah.
Like it's something is coming up that needs more work done. Right.
Absolutely. New customers, new projects. You know, it's an ongoing thing, and it's really hard to keep up with the work when you're constantly trying to look for people in a specialty trade that just seemingly don't exist.
Yeah, that's really weird because technicians, for the most part, obviously they have, responsibilities and whatever, but they're on their own in the field a lot and they get paid really well. There's really good benefits. Why do you think it's difficult to find some of these new guys?
Well, again, I've got my own theories, my own opinions on the topic. Personally, I don't think that it's a trade that is lauded. Nobody pushes their kids these days to go be service technicians unless they are in the trades themselves, unless they are a service technician or they have a technician in the family. Mm-hmm. Think about it. When you were growing up, I know that you had, your dad was in the trades, right?
Yeah, my dad's a sprinkler fitter. My grandpa was too.
Okay, so you probably heard it a lot about what kind of opportunities, were in it, and if I'm not mistaken, you were actually in it for
about 2 years, a little over 2 years. I did it as well, for sure. Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Unless you have somebody like that in your family that tells you what the benefits are, it's never talked about.
Right.
It's never even discussed.
Yeah.
And dare I say, even looked down upon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are pushing their kids to, pursue other professions, go to college, which not knocking college or anything.
Not at all.
On this podcast, at least. But, it's just not something that kids these days feel that can be a successful career path for them,
right,
or give them the type of recognition that they want. And maybe that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a new generation reputation thing. But you know what? It's good, hard, honest work, and it teaches the fundamentals to succeed in anything that you want to do. So I would encourage anyone, any teenager or adolescent that doesn't know what they want to do with their life, instead of jumping right into college and spending all of that money, try out the trades. I'm serious, because you know what? You have to get up early. You have to work hard. You can't quit until the job is done. And these fundamentals will translate into anything else. If they don't want to get their hands dirty, that's fine. But as long as the industry needs technicians, be a tech. It's a tech's market right now.
For sure.
Techs can come in and request pretty much whatever they want for a salary. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And I hope I don't have a lot of people coming to me saying, "Hey, give me $14,000 an hour, and I'll come work for you."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
right.
it is true. It's technicians know that this is an industry that is lacking the right talent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of success to be had.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point that we need to get across to today's youth, especially, it's all supply and demand.
Yes.
And right now, it's a big demand.
Yeah, most businesses could put a sign in the window or, I guess not really, this isn't really relevant, but an ad in the newspaper, that's more of a metaphor these days.
Yeah, right.
But, a lot of businesses locally can put some sort of advertisement out, we're now hiring, and then have people come in and apply. And that's just not the case with us. We're in Phoenix, and we are literally targeting the entire country to find good technicians. It's so hard. I mean, we're searching Denver and Albuquerque and, New York and all over the place because, good technicians are in such demand that we have to look everywhere for them.
Absolutely. No, and that's absolutely right. And look, I'm not saying that every technician out there is terrible at what they do.
Right.
But you know the distinction between a good technician and a bad technician, or even a good technician and a great technician.
Sure.
The thing about the industry these days is you have to be a one-stop shop. To compete with all of the companies that are out there and what they're doing. You have to be a one-stop shop, which means ideally you find a technician, specific to the facilities industry that knows how to do HVAC,
right,
medium temp refrigeration, low temp refrigeration, and then commercial cooking equipment. And that's the part that usually gets people.
Okay.
See, there's schools around the country in every single state, that will teach you how to do low and medium temp. But there's no school that teaches you how to do high temp.
Why do you think that is?
It beats me. It
Okay.
really does. The manufacturers of the high temp equipment or the commercial cooking equipment, they do have courses and things like that people can go to. But usually, it's a company. You're already a technician. A company sends you to the manufacturer to get this training.
Is that the typical route to get this training?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the typical route goes something like this. You go to a trade school, or you come up in the industry with knowing somebody in the industry.
Right.
And you become a technician, and then your employer sends you to these different trainings, for manufacturers.
Right.
And then there's associations out there like CFESA, Commercial Food Equipment Service Association. That's big, and it focuses mostly on kitchen equipment.
Okay.
And things like that. But again, there are no real actual schools.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, there's one that's out there, but again, a lot of people don't really know about it, and it's not it's not targeting the people that it needs to target, at least not right now.
They're not necessarily at high school job fairs.
Exactly.
With X state university.
Precisely.
Right.
Precisely. Yeah, and so that's what makes it very tough is to find a technician that does the hot, cold HVAC. But then you're talking. I'm talking about 3 specific trades right now. Okay.
Yeah.
But then you have to look at the rest of the picture.
Okay.
Then you have to look at character.
Right.
Then you have to look at likability, customer service. You have to look at reliability and trust.
Yeah.
All the things that you would normally look at in any other employee in any other field, but combined with such a specialty trade, makes if you have a good tech or you are a good tech, if you have a good tech, never let them go.
Right.
Okay.
We work very hard at that.
Right. If you are a good tech, keep doing that.
Yeah.
Because it is definitely very difficult these days to find. Retaining them's not a problem.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about the company culture here.
Right.
Right. I'm confident that just about anybody who were to come aboard Windy City would realize that the culture here and what we're trying to create and what we're trying to accomplish, will really resonate with anyone that we would want on our staff anyway.
Right.
So retaining them's not an issue. Finding them is.
So, okay, I want to dig into something you said a little bit earlier about the difference between, I guess, a medium and a high grade technician. What separates each of those steps? And obviously, I'm not saying like somebody's a crappy technician, but I'm just saying you have to go through steps to become a good technician. And what does that typically look like?
Well, the separation can be interpreted different ways. So, you could have a technician that is really, really, really good at fixing anything. You put him in front of anything and he'll fix it, but he's a terrible communicator.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, and in this industry, another topic for another day, but communication is such an issue in this particular field.
Sure.
That it's of utmost importance, that technicians and office staff and everybody have good communication skills.
Right.
So, you have a technician that can fix anything, does great quality work, but he has no idea how to communicate what he did to the customer. That is a separation between a good technician and a great technician.
Right.
Okay. And then you have obviously experience. You have the ability to fix only hot side or only cold side or HVAC.
Yeah.
And so you can't be a great technician until you really know how to do all three.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, you can be great at what you do.
Yeah.
You can be great at refrigeration, you can be great at HVAC.
Yeah.
But to be an all-around, well-rounded technician, you really need to know as many of those as possible. And you know what? I'm not trying to exclude any other trades too. Electricians, plumbers. The more you know, the better you are.
Yes.
So that's distinction between good and great. Maybe it's a blurred line when you get to great as far as how great you can be.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It really does. And do you think? Okay, so we're talking about. The average age of a technician is, you said, 45 years old,
40.
right? 40 years old. Okay. Now, with the change with social media coming about and technology, the human condition itself is getting more adapted to being better communicating. Now, when you see younger technicians come and get a grasp at this industry, do you see some of these new skill sets coming along with them at all?
Absolutely. No, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Because now, not only with social media, but with paperless invoicing.
Yes.
All of the invoice and all the communication now goes through electronics.
Yeah.
Goes through all of our technicians have both a smartphone and a tablet.
Yes. Right.
You know what I mean? And
how is that rare at all in this industry, or is that becoming the new norm?
That's becoming the new norm.
Yeah.
I think most of the companies out there that do it, most of the service companies, they probably have a tablet and like a flip phone.
Okay.
Or just a tablet or just a smartphone.
Yeah.
We like to do both again because we pride ourselves on our communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? If a tablet gives out or they drop it off a roof, I want them to still be able to complete their calls for the day until I can get them a new tablet.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right.
It's about efficiencies and that communication. Yes, to answer your question, the younger generation is probably going to have that skill set already embedded in them.
Yeah. So I mean, there is a lot of opportunities for somebody young to really dig into a really, really long-term career because they already are utilizing the technologies every day to be successful at a career like this. So
Oh my God. Okay, so
where are we going?
The opportunity is, to call it an opportunity is an understatement.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for technicians these days to make six figures.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm this is no bullshit. This is serious. We have some on our staff that are making a very, very good living because they're worth it. They're the whole package. You know what I mean? And there's no reason why today's youth can't achieve that. And they're not even told this.
Right.
I bet you if you did a consensus through a high school and you said, how much do you feel a service technician can make a year?
Yeah.
Most of them would probably say something stupid like $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And actually
20 grand or something.
To be perfectly honest, a lot of people, grown people,
Adults.
Also called adults.
Yeah.
Probably feel the same way just because they don't know it. They were never brought up in it. And to be fair, those who are adults and don't know about it probably never had to.
Yeah.
Right. But then again, if you are a manager at a restaurant or an owner or a facilities manager or operations, whatever, this is information you need to know.
Yeah.
And because technicians, they make a lot.
Right.
And they cost a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Trust me, I can vouch for this.
You're the guy that knows for sure.
So of course that drives the hourly rates and everything else. But Yeah, the opportunity in the trades is just absolutely ridiculous. Again, not just financially, but also for the values that it teaches.
Yeah. What are those values? What do you think? Let's dive into that a little bit.
Geez. Okay, so work ethic I think is number
For sure.
one.
For sure.
Work ethic is definitely important.
And that's hard to teach.
Oh, it is hard to teach. You you need to do it, or you need to have a dad like me who was hell bent on instilling that in me, which I'm so thankful that he did.
Yeah.
So hard work is absolutely. I mean, you're climbing up and down ladders.
My dad is literally doing that right now.
Oh, there you go.
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
So,
Yeah.
There you go. And
Yeah.
I mean, you're up before dawn. Sometimes you don't get home until after sunset.
Yep.
So it definitely teaches you how to work hard, which is important in
For
anything
sure.
that you do. If you don't want to be a technician the rest of your life, guess what? Whatever you have to do or whatever you want to do next is
Yeah.
going to take hard work.
Yeah.
So why not learn how to work the hardest and get the best work ethic before going down that path? So that's the first and foremost fundamental. The
Yeah.
next one is humility.
Okay.
Okay, and I like to call myself a Jedi master of humility.
Okay.
Because it really you have to swallow your pride. You have to resonate with the customers. You have to see things from their point of view, and you have to admit when you're wrong.
Right,
I
right.
mean, and there are a lot of companies out there. Don't get me wrong. They don't admit when they're wrong. They try to cover it up, try to make excuses. Whatever it may be, and
Yeah.
that's part of the issue we're having with the perception of this industry.
Yep.
But if you're taught correctly, the fundamentals that you will learn include humility.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
honestly, you're not even necessarily taught that. That's just sort of one of those things where you get into it and you go through the grind and you start having appreciation for the people that have done these careers before you. Like, I mean, somebody that's done one of these jobs for 40 years, and you've done it for 6 months and you're thinking, wow, this is way more difficult than I thought. You really learn to look at things from a little bit of a different perspective, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, and maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe there's a lot of people these days that just don't want to work that hard.
Yeah,
I mean, that could be, and like I said, it depends on the person.
Right.
You have to be willing to do this stuff, and this can probably be said for any other profession out there. I'm not trying to say, just this field is the cause for the people don't want to work hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I
just saying
gotcha.
It depends on the person. But chances are, if they don't want to work hard in this field, they're not going to work hard enough in any other field to
Yes.
become successful.
Right.
I mean, we're not. I know you see it all the time on the news and TV and entertainment magazine and shit like that. But this is not a get rich quick economy. You can't just go out and just
Make something up.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
The fundamentals will never change. To be successful, the kind of success that anybody wants to achieve,
Yep.
they need to work their ass off for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do, and that's the quickest way to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you spend your entire life thinking you're gonna have one big idea or do one big thing and get rich, then you know what?
That's not real at all.
No.
At all.
No.
I mean, 90% of the people that are get-rich-quick people, you didn't see the 10 years before they have came onto the scene. It's like, oh, he just popped out of nowhere, and that's not the case.
No.
At all.
No.
Okay, so we're talking about some of these values. Do you think patience is another one that they learn?
Absolutely.
Okay, because the way I see it, their patience comes from a lot of different aspects. It's the patience to know that maybe you might be 19 starting in this profession and knowing that you have 20, 30, 40 years ahead of you, and knowing that you have to take the time to learn the skill set necessary to be successful. But you're not only learning patience in developing your career and your skills at this job, but you're developing patience for working your way up the ladder as far as pay scale and I guess job titles kind of go. But you're also learning a different aspect of patience by dealing with people. I mean, our guys are in the field. How many different restaurant managers do our technicians run into on a daily or weekly basis? And every single one of those people have a completely different personality that they have to learn to be patient with, right?
Absolutely. You know what? And I would group patience in the same category as perseverance.
Yeah.
Because patience is one thing, being able to wait, but waiting while you know that there's something else that you're working toward,
right.
I think to persevere through all of the shit that you have to go through, when becoming a technician. I went through it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I came out here to Arizona and I started working with my dad, we talked about it before. He made me work from the ground up.
Right.
Okay.
Literally.
I had to learn how to be a technician before I did anything else with this company.
Yeah.
And it takes a special kind of person, a special kind of mind.
Yep.
But I think that experience enabled me and Windy City to be as successful as we are now.
Absolutely.
Because of what I learned, the values that I learned while I was in the field and running these calls and working day in, day out. I mean, it taught me a lot. And you know what? Again, everybody's different. But it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back, trust me, there were more four-letter words, used at that time.
Absolutely.
I mean, and all the techs out there will know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You get up at, 5 o'clock in the morning, you start running calls, you're on call that week, so you get home, 7 o'clock at night, you just strip down to get in the shower, right? And your phone rings at 8 o'clock, and you're like, oh, come on. Come on. And your wife's like, oh, come on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it does. It's hard, it can be hard, but again, once you reap the benefits of it and you're better for it.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's just say somebody's hearing this podcast and maybe they're not specifically in our industry and they're hearing it, or maybe they are and they have somebody in mind that is, let's say, 18 years old, graduated high school, or just about to, and they're looking for a new career. What do you suggest somebody in that position would do if they wanted to explore this opportunity?
Go to trade school. And that's really it. There are companies out there that you can apply for that will aid in schooling.
Yep.
But you have to show the drive. You have to show the dedication. Going to trade school first and foremost is probably the best foot in the door.
Yeah. Yep.
They have career fairs and things like that. We've got a local school here that we've gone to some career fairs at, and and of course, the technicians that come out of this school are taught on super clean pieces of equipment, and really they're not taught the elements of in which you work.
Right.
Especially here in Arizona when it's 120 degrees outside, it's about 140 on those rooftops.
Oh yeah.
So bring an umbrella.
And at the same time, our counterparts in the Midwest, in Chicago, Michigan, I mean, they're dealing with 30 below zero and still having to get the job done, right?
Absolutely. So and that's the first step, because what trade school will teach you is, number one, theory of operation, which is important, because when you learn theory, you can translate it into just about anything.
Yeah.
So
right.
You learn how to fix one thing, you can apply those same principles to something else.
Yeah.
And I mean, some things don't translate perfectly, of course, but to have the mechanical aptitude that the schools will teach you is what the companies are looking for when you come out.
They teach you how to figure things out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They teach you how to figure things out. It's still up to you to figure them out, though.
Yeah.
Because I will say that I have seen some people come out of trade school and basically said this is hard and I quit. So, guess what? It's fucking hard.
Right.
It's not easy.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. We said there's a potential six-figure opportunity. I mean, most people, if you ask them what six-figure opportunities, you're talking doctors and lawyers and business executives, and what does it take to get there? It takes hard work. Okay, it might be a different kind of hard work, but my brother's graduating medical school in like 4 weeks, and he's gone to school every single day he's on like his almost ninth year. You know what I'm saying? So it's not easy. He's going to go out of school at like $95,000 a year or something crazy like that. But he worked really, really hard for it. So there's literally nothing that you're not going to work hard for, right?
Oh, absolutely. The type of work varies, but the hard work doesn't. It's going to be hard work no matter what you're doing.
For sure.
And that's why I push the fundamentals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, man. Got anything else you want to cover?
No, I don't think so, man. I think this was good today.
No, this was a really good one. I'm actually really glad we talked about this, because this is something that, on a daily basis we talk about. I feel like a lot of the things we talk about on a daily basis are going to come out here, but it's really good to kind of bring it all together, and it's almost a reminder to ourselves why we're doing the things we're doing. We started out this conversation talking about how I'm making a video to attract future technicians for our company, and you made so many good points, and the words you said today during this conversation have been mirrored by our own technicians in these videos. I'm asking them questions about their experience working at Windy City and what it's like, and their answers are almost exactly what we're talking about here. And I didn't coach them at all on what to say. I just answered questions, and they came out, and so I think we're really on the right track here.
Right. Well, and don't forget, I have a technician background too, so that might be some of the reason it's translating over.
Absolutely helps. Yes.
But it's true, and I think that is the biggest part. It's the truth.
Yeah.
They know it. We know it.
Yep.
Now the rest of the world needs to know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. So anyway, hey, thank you so much for doing this again. This is, like I said, this is so much fun.
Yeah, it sure is.
I hope everybody out there enjoyed this podcast. Make sure that you go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. I respond to every comment on there. So if there's an idea or a topic you want to see, definitely let me know. Shoot me an email, leave a comment, give me a call, something. We also have our newsletter coming out. Big year in 2018. Take advantage of it.
Sounds good, man. Awesome. Well, we'll do this again next week, right?
See you then.